Welcome to the King and the Progress podcast. I am Mr. K.
And I'm Mr. P.
We are all informovers in that consuming information is an integral part of our modern daily life. We are informovers too, but of a different kind. What drives us is the epistemic curiosity.
For those unfamiliar with epistemic curiosity, don't worry. I wasn't familiar either until an hour ago when I Googled it.
Yeah, well done. Epistemic curiosity reflects a desire for new information that motivates exploratory behavior and knowledge acquisition. According to psychologist Littman, epistemic curiosity is an emotional motivation state that can involve positive feelings of interest associated with anticipation of learning something new, as well as unpleasant feelings of uncertainty due to lack of knowledge.
Yes, that's us. We want to explore complex ideas and ask novel questions. Sometimes we make ambiguous statements, and our ideas may be half baked, but our aim is to resolve discrepancies in our knowledge.
Absolutely. We're not as eloquent as Sam Harris, but we can promise you we will be more insightful than Kamala Harris on her best day. I am Mr. K.
And I'm Mr. P.
We give you the King and the Progress podcast. Welcome to the first episode of the King and the Progress podcast. I'm Mr. K.
I'm Mr. P.
Hello, Mr. P. How are you doing?
Good. Weather down under is very hot.
In Australia, right?
Yep,
Okay. So,
very hot today.
all right, that's good. I'm in UK, and the weather is incredibly cold, right? Okay, so this is our first episode um, of the King and the Progress podcast. Just to give introduction to our audience or audiences, we don't know, right? Something possessed us to do this podcast. I don't know what. I think um, we just want to cover our backgrounds in terms of why we started this podcast and why we named it The King and the Progress.
Yep, go ahead. You can start.
Okay. So you and I have been friends for 20 years or more than that. And
More than 20 years now.
yes, and you're not even my direct friend, you're my brother's friend, right? And
Yeah.
we met 2 decades ago. Um, and then there's something that's common that we found,
Between us.
yeah, between us,
Yeah.
that we both are quite curious people, right? In terms of um, acquiring new knowledge, discussing things that it's very hard to find anyone else interested in these things, right? So even back in the early days, when we were in the college, um, there's something that every time we met, I think we used to meet every other few months and things like that, and I found something that you are very curious about things, uh, and I was exactly the same. Um, and my brother is slightly different, and again my friend circle, obviously they I mean they're all you know uh,
They
quite
have their
quite quite smart
work
people and everything
background.
else, but they don't share any curiosities, or they don't share the same interests that I had. And of all my friend circle, I think you are the only one who share my interest, my passion for acquiring knowledge, and to explore new things. And you are an avid book reader. And I don't know how many books you've read in the last 20 years, right? You have,
Not many.
yeah, but
200, 300.
yes, so
Mm.
you have a compendium of all the books you've read, and then you sort of
Mm.
meticulously, um,
Recorded
record.
them like whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do read books every now and then, but I'm more of I'm more of um, uh, non-fiction, reading articles and writing blogs, and so we have a different way of acquiring knowledge, right? So You do this by books. I mostly do this by following um, you know intellectuals. I
Podcaster.
follow around 20, and then we also share a common thread that we follow the same people. I mean, Sam Harris, Douglas Murray, um, Christopher Hitchens in the past, Richard Dawkins, which whom I met in UK, one of the best days of my life.
And his show was my first show here in Sydney.
Hmm.
I went to his talk show here in Sydney.
Yeah, yeah,
Richard
yes.
Dawkins.
Yeah, so I follow lots of public intellectuals, and you are more of a book reader in terms of acquiring whatever little knowledge we gain on a daily basis, right? So and then we've been exchanging some information. We've been exchanging ideas over WhatsApp, right? So, I mean,
Great reader of memoir and all.
yeah, and then you just post just a snippet of snippet of
Excerpt of
what
interesting
you're
book.
reading. Yeah, exactly, and what you're reading, and then you ask me like, hey, what do you think about this? And then I sometimes respond, and sometimes say, oh, this is very interesting. I don't know about this, and things like that. So we've been exchanging snippets of information every now and then, right, intermittently. And then one day we
Yep.
thought, you know what? Now that we have the medium of podcast, right? So rather than
I know.
texting each other, so how about
Yeah,
we, yeah, exactly, so how about we just start a podcast, and then and see and see how it goes, right? And then and then that's the reason we said, okay, let's do the podcast. And then we named it The King and the Progress, for the lack of better
mm,
name, because we
that's
didn't
an
know.
interesting name.
Yeah, it's a cryptic name, yes. I think the my sort of rationale behind um naming this The King and the Progress is because we both hail from South India, right? And we emigrated to the West.
Mhm.
So you emigrated to Australia. You've been in US, I think, right? For a couple of years.
For significant amount of time. Yep.
Yeah. I've been in UK ever since I immigrated to West in early 2000s. And we didn't realize at the time when we were in college 2 decades ago, but I think we share the Enlightenment values that underpins the modern Western civilization, right? Um,
Right.
which we didn't realize at the time. And obviously, we have our own acquaintance with our own culture, in the Indian culture. There's some good
Yep.
aspects of it. There's some bad aspects of it. But I think we, I don't know about you. Again, we've never shared. Uh, we never shared this level of details in the past,
Or
right? But
yeah.
I'm assuming that you lean more towards Western cultural values than Indian.
Rational, I don't know whether I can term it as Western or Eastern. It's more like rational and reasoning.
Yes, correct.
I
Yeah.
go to.
Yes, I mean that's what we say. The enlightenment values, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, they started in the West, but obviously the Eastern Orientalism have also got some
Yes, that's what like.
insights into
Yeah.
philosophy and the state of mind and the state of nature and things like that. Um, but what we see in practice, um, at least in India, right, is
Mhm.
quite different to how we go about things in the West, right?
Right. Yep. Yep.
And we both tend to be non-religious. You've always been non-religious. My understanding
I was
is
all my conscious life.
all your conscious life. Good. Um,
Mhm.
uh, I'm slightly different because I used to be very religious, and again, as we mentioned, the epistemic curiosity that I had um, led me to explore other things, and then I've I've changed my mind, and then I've become non-religious, uh, well, atheist.
Mhm.
But okay, I still have some. I still hold to some of the religious convictions that I had, but but again, I don't.
Wow.
Yeah,
I did
exactly.
not know that. Mhm. Yeah, it will be an interesting discussion. Not only religion, religion is maybe a part of our discussion. It's more like current affairs, political this thing,
Yeah,
and
exactly. I mean, I
going
think
to
it's anything,
politicians
anything.
to certain things. Yeah.
Yeah, anything to do with rationality, science,
Mhm.
geopolitics, culture,
And I
history.
have like very mm, hardcore and right-wing ideology in certain things. So we'll discuss all those things
Oh
and
yeah,
see
yeah.
like
I mean, again, we haven't
uh,
shared our political leanings,
uh-huh.
right? I don't know where you stand on the so-called left-right dichotomy. Um, I'm quite a centrist. I have some left-wing ideas, I have some right-wing ideas um, that I subscribe to. Well, right-wing, not in a, so I'm more of a libertarian, small c conservative leanings, but I also have some progressive left left
Yeah.
leanings. So I'm sort of a middle of the road centrist,
Mhm.
but I don't know where you belong on the politically, but it doesn't matter
Let's
because
let's explore and discover. That's the reason we started this. We will explore each other's ideas and probably there might be some other audience who are interested in it. And let's see how it goes.
yeah, that's good. So in our prelude, so we mentioned epistemic curiosity, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
interestingly, in the field of psychology, there's been some research on epistemic curiosity on why some people are curious about things, right? Um, to explore new things, and why some people are not, right? I mean, and there's nothing right or wrong about this, right? Because
In a like nutshell, is it a hardware sort of thing, or is it more like serotonin and all those chemical thing? Like, what's the gist of that research?
I don't know the roots of why some people
Mhm.
lean that way, right? So I mean,
Mhm.
there's within the from the little research I did, right, on epistemic
Mhm.
curiosity, right? So apparently there are two types,
Mhm.
right? There is an I type and there is a D type, right?
Okay.
So an I type leans towards acquiring new information. So that's what I stands for, right?
Oh, okay.
And the D type is to understand what we already know, right, and try
Mhm.
to fill the gap with what we already know, right? It's
Got it. Oh,
so
okay. That's how generally humans work. They just fill up the gaps.
yes, that's correct. So basically, an I type want to explore new things, and the D type want to fill up the knowledge and the gap in the knowledge of what we already know. But some people are neither in the terms that they obviously as we mentioned in the prelude that
Mhm.
everyone is seeking information. They're onto social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and they're reading newspaper articles and things like that. But their curiosity is not is not well. Their curiosity is not driven by acquiring new knowledge, or trying to you know uh, fill the gaps in their existing knowledge or something like that. But they just want information, right? So I mean,
Mm.
when we and you and me, I think have got hundreds of WhatsApp groups, right? And then if we look at what is being discussed in those groups, is just mundane stuff, right? Standard stuff. Hey,
I'll
did
put it this way.
mm,
So, Mr. K, so what I put is we go to great lengths to get some information, be it random, and to understand it. Ours is more like a slow cooking sort of thing.
mm,
We like slow cooking. Most of the people we come across are our acquaintances are they are like fast, instant cooking, like they just want it then and there. They don't want to analyze it and all those things. Probably that brought us together. That way of thinking, like understanding the whole context, to see why this has happened 1 minute ago and 1 million years ago. People don't generally have that kind of mindset or patience.
Yeah, I mean, I think from again one of my sort of hobby horses is evolutionary psychology, right? So we're not
Yeah.
we're not wired for cognitive load, right? Because it's easier for us to um, get on with life um, by having low cognitive load mode, right? Which is basically if you come across I don't know if there is a um, rustling of leaves in a tree. I think we are hardwired to think there is a wild animal right behind the, or there's a snake behind
Correct.
behind the leaves, and then not to think any deeply. I think that gave us evolutionary advantage in
Sure.
terms of better safe than sorry, right? And then just run away from it. Or the cognitive load types like us to say that, oh, why is this rustling of leaves? Oh, there's wind. Okay, it could be the wind that is causing it. Well, I haven't seen a wild animal around in the last 3 years, so the chances are it's
It
not a
might
wild
not be
animal.
able-
And then we tend to go out and explore more, right? So it opens up the
Yeah.
horizons, and then say that, okay, and it's risky. Yes, there's a good chance that it could be a tiger hiding behind the leaves, but hey, that's how the world goes, right? So I think we're all
Yeah, ready
hardwired
to
for.
be. Yep. Yeah. We'll talk about it in some podcast like
Yeah,
System
so
A and One System 2.
yes, correct. So
That's
type
what.
the
Okay.
type one and type two. So one of the other
Correct.
reason that we started this podcast was that uh,
Mhm.
we both are bored, in the sense that we have lots of friends. You have your own friends. I have my own friends. Very good friends, very close friends. But and then it's not that I do not enjoy the company or anything like that. I do like their company, and then they're lovely people. But when it comes to exploring new things, ideas, pretty
Intellectual discussion. We
intellectual
think.
discussion, I, I
Yeah.
I feel them um, very boring. Right? There is nothing. I mean, I have some good friends that I have wonderful time, but
Mm.
we spend 6 hours, 8 hours, all kind of drinking sessions and stuff. But it's very hard to find anyone who wants to go deep into some having some. Well, obviously we discuss films and we discuss politics are boring, right? um
Mhm.
but okay, and that's about it, and there's never been a depth of discussion.
Getting
So
beyond it. Yeah.
yeah, partly because maybe I think we have to be a little bit more um generous, that not everyone is geared up to explore new things, because
Yeah.
is this limited bandwidth in life
More about it. Yeah.
um, they're taking care of their kids, they're busy jobs, and they're very hardworking people. So there's nothing wrong in that, but it's just that I haven't found anyone that I could sit for 2 hours and have a nice rational discussion on things. Hey, what do you think about this, and what do you think about that, and things like that, right? So um and you're the only one I can think of, right, of in my
Same
home.
here. I can talk with you anything under the sun, and you always having either a opinion or b new information which interests me.
Hmm.
So probably those are the things which gel us together.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then we said, okay, what do we name the podcast as? And we said, uh, okay, why don't we call it the King and the Progress? And you were trying to decrypt what it even means, right? And then I said, have a try. Um, and
Yeah, I did not have a clue. Then it clicked after a long, long time. Like I asked you actually.
yes, and I said, look, my name um, in Indian language is refers to a king, and your name refers to progress, right? It means
Yeah.
progress. It means welfare, right? And my name means king. So we thought, okay, why don't we call it the King and the Progress, right? And then you seem to have loved the title, and then we said, okay, let's do it. And
It's
okay,
innovative. It's nice.
yeah. Okay, so that's where we are, and so this is our first episode. Um, so yes, I
Interactive.
mean, going forward,
By
I think we'll be discussing lots of things. The books that you're reading, the people that I'm following, right? Um, Again, as you said, as you alluded to, right? Anything under the sun, science, geopolitics, culture, history, even films, religion, who cares, right? So we just explore new things, try to understand each other. But I think I'm more interested in not. I mean, we said that there's something that gels us in terms of exploring new things, but I also want to see where we differ. Um,
yeah,
not not
that's
not
what I am looking at.
yes,
Most of the
not
time we talk similar things.
yes, not where we align. So, for example, right, I'm a huge admirer of Sam Harris, and maybe there's 10 years that I perfectly align with his views. In the last few years, I slightly diverge from his views, but I'm 90-95% there with him.
Discuss
But
about it. I want to know about that.
okay, so again, so it's yeah, it'll be curious to know what where we align, but where we also disagree and differ. But
Yeah, that
um,
is more interesting for
correct.
those
So because
questions.
yeah, exactly. The I think there was a saying in the past. Can't remember who came up with this. It says that the whole point of a discussion is not winning the debate or a point, but to make progress, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much underpins what this podcast is. I don't know who's going to listen to this, and we don't care, right? It's just
Okay.
we
Either.
just we just exchange information, and then we just put it out there. People want to listen, they can listen, or they want to watch cat videos on YouTube. They're happy to do that as well, right? Um,
Yeah, we don't get.
no, no, that's okay. So we have no. I mean, we both have successful professional careers, right? So this is not something that there's no monetary benefit in doing this. It's just meandering through the world of things and knowledge, and see where we get to. And Yeah, in the coming episodes, probably we'll explore new things, new ideas, and what you're up to these days, Mr. P. What I've been up to, and then yeah, and we take it from there.
Yeah, we have at least like there are many things we can discuss. Like probably we have maybe years worth of discussion.
Yeah,
Politics, books, your opinions on many things. Let's see. I have a feel that it'll be funny and it'll be interesting. At least for us. I don't know
at
about
least to us,
others.
yes, at least to us, right? So uh, I've I've recently come across a I don't know, one of the things that one of my friends, I went to my friend's house and they're watching a video of some lady who's just created a YouTube channel, um,
Uh huh.
and she basically shows around the house in terms of how they improved uh, the kitchen,
House tour, housing tour.
the housing to the kitchen. What do they do on a daily basis? They just go out and shop at a supermarket, and then I've noticed that she has something like 800,000 subscribers, right?
Yeah,
And
okay.
and
I don't
and
want
and
to
s-
judge that.
and they were all watching it, and I was sitting there. It's like, what the actual fuck is I'm watching, right? Who cares where they shop, right? And and
Mm,
who really cares? But okay, it's keeping lots of
fair enough.
people. It's keeping lots of people entertained. Um, so
Mhm.
okay, so there's no epistemic curiosity apart from saying that okay, I'm
No,
gonna follow any random shit on YouTube. So but that's okay. Our channel is not meant for them, right? They can carry on, and
no.
I mean
Mr.
everyone's
K, what I feel is we must be tolerant of those guys. It's not about them, it's more about
Of
us.
course not. It's not. But
And it's, yeah,
yeah, exactly,
yeah.
because
We
they
internally look into ourselves and we will just enjoy ourselves. That's all. We don't
correct. Yeah,
care. Like,
absolutely. I mean,
listen, see.
whatever floats their boat, right? If
Yeah,
as long as
exactly.
as long as they're happy watching those videos, and and that's okay. I mean, obviously they need a break from their hectic lives, and okay, maybe if it's entertaining for them. But
No, we don't get it.
correct,
Our mind is not wired for those
correct.
things. That's all.
We are not wired like that, right? So that's the motivation behind. So like, okay, if we get 5 subscribers, so we only, but it's just you and me watching it over and over again. That's also fine, right? So
Probably it might be that for a long
for
time,
a long time. So
and there might be few people who are of our mindset.
yeah. So um, okay. So I think yeah, it's our first episode. Um, we'll try to release an episode every fortnight or something, Mr. P. Right?
Yeah,
As and when
it
we
depends.
find time.
I am weekly. I am ambitious. Every Saturday or something like that. Let's see how it goes.
Yep.
If it works, that's good. Once a week or once in 2 weeks.
Okay. So until next time. Okay. I'll see you around, and we'll have a second episode, and then we'll try to go deep into some of the things that we're going to discuss today. But right, look forward to our episode 2.
Yep, same here. I'm excited, curious, and I'm just waiting for something to happen. I want to listen to it.
Okay. All right.
Second episode.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Mr.
Yeah.
P.
Thank you, Mr. K.
Okay. This is the King and the Progress podcast.